This is my month in review for all of the manga, manhwa, and webcomics I read in July. This month I read 62 series. Breaking that down further, 15 of those were new series that I started, 46 were ongoing, I didn't drop any, and one of those was finished. Now, I'm only including things I read via physical volumes, webtoon, tapas, shonen jump, viz manga, and Kindle. We do not name websites here, that is how they get taken down. Now, since 5 of those sources are digital compared to only physical volumes, I'd like to take a look at the percent of reads I had by type being physical versus digital. Here we can see in July I only read about 1% of things physically compared to 99% of things digitally. Breaking that down further, we could take a look at the number of series I read by source. So here you could see I read 5 series via physical volumes, 42 via webtoon, 13 via tapas, and 2 via shonen jump. Now, I'm not going to tell you every single series that I read in July or else we'll be here all day, so I'm only going to give you my top 5 and bottom 5 where it's applicable. Up first on webtoon, my top 5 at a 9.4 is Villain with a Crush and Wanna See My Cat, and all at a 9.0 is Dom and Moore, Giant Nerd Boyfriend, and I Can't Get Enough of You. I didn't have any series on webtoon I rated a 6 or lower, so we can move on to my top 5 on tapas. Here at a 9.0 we have Mother's Contract Marriage and Sweethearts in the Spotlight. At an 8.8, Viola Tames the Duke. At an 8.6, I Will Divorce the Female Lead's Older Brother. And at an 8.5, The Dignity of Romance. I also didn't have any series I rated a 6 or lower on tapas, so we can move on to Shonen Jump, where I'm only reading 2 series. I rated both of those a 9.0 in July, and those 2 series are Spy Family and Jujutsu Kaisen. Next, moving on to my top 5 physical series that I read this month. They are top 5 by default because I only read 5 series in July. So at a 9.5, we have Neighborhood Story. At a 9.2, which had Atelier. At an 8.4, Mao. At an 8.2, Colorless. And at a 7.8, I got fired as a court wizard, so I'm moving to the country to become a magic teacher. So far, we've only taken a look at the total number of series and my ratings for the top 5, so I also like to take a look at the number of volumes, episodes, or chapters that I read by each of the sources. Here you can see that while I only read 5 series via physical volumes, I read 7 actual volumes of manga. On webtoon, I read 353 episodes, on tapas 200 episodes, and on Shonen Jump 8 chapters. I always like to take a look at my ratings by each of the sources. Here the bars are the average ratings and the red line is the median to make sure I don't have any major outliers. In July, my average rating for the physical volumes that I read was an 8.62. On webtoon, the average I gave was an 8.13. On tapas, an 8.22, and on Shonen Jump, a 9.0. In conclusion, this was a really bad month for physical reads. My percent of physical to digital is usually like 6 or 7% physical, but this month it was only 1, so I really got to do better reading physical volumes that I already own and that I have at hand. However, I did find a lot of new series on tapas. Most of those were series I was reading on websites that are now finally getting official translation, so I'm going to take a look at them over there to make sure that the creators are getting their flowers. As always, feel free to recommend your favorite series to me. If you didn't see me talk about it here, I'm always looking for new things to read, and that is everything that I read in July.